Overview of African spirituality. Spirituality and people vary across Africa's vast geographies. It links the past, present, and future in life. It expresses our deep connection to the cosmos, nature, and one another, rooted in our cultures and traditions. This documentary uncovers the complex fabric of African spirituality, often misconstrued as witchcraft. We explore these traditions' depth, beauty, and complexity to connect with the world. Highlighting diversity. Africa's spiritual customs are as diverse as its topography, from Yoruba ancestral reverence to Tuareg nomadic ceremonies. Each activity reveals how Africans engage with the spiritual realm, showing their variety and depth of religion. Pre-colonial African spirituality. Before colonialism, Africans had a deep spiritual connection to the land, ancestors, and divine. These spiritual traditions directed communities through nature, birth, life, death, and rebirth, and were anchored in daily life. Impact of colonialism. African spirituality was shaken by colonialism. Traditional ideas were suppressed for being primitive or wicked by Christianity and Islam. Despite all odds, our forebears adapted and kept their spiritual legacy. Survival and adaptation. African spirituality withstood the colonial onslaught and adapted to new expressions thanks to our endurance. It adopted components of introduced religions, establishing syncretic practices that survive today, proving our spiritual traditions' resilience. African witchcraft and spirituality. Africa's many civilizations view witchcraft differently from the negative preconceptions. Communities revere this intricate blend of knowledge, practice, and spiritual power for its ability to heal, protect, and connect with the unseen. Ideas, beliefs, and practices. African spirituality is diverse, ranging from Akan ancestral devotion to sand healing rituals. Many practices emphasize interconnectivity, ancestor power, and a spiritual realm accessible through spiritual leaders' rituals, symbols, and mediation. Unique cultural practices. Case studies of Africa's diverse spiritual landscapes include Yoruba Ifa divination, Bantu initiation rites, and �ฑ𝐢𝐴𝐷 spirit possession ceremonies. Each tradition portrays Africans' spiritual journeys. Healers, diviners, and spiritual leaders. Traditional healers, diviners, and spiritual leaders in African spirituality are custodians of ancient wisdom and channelers between the physical and spiritual realms. In addition to healing, they advise and preserve their community's cultures. Spiritual leaders must undergo tremendous personal transformation. That usually entails hard training, initiation procedures, and ancestral wisdom. This journey assures only the called and prepared step into spiritual leadership. Challenges and misconceptions. African spirituality practitioners face several obstacles. These historical traditions are threatened by stigma, persecution, and misunderstanding within and outside their communities. Despite difficulties, their faith and perseverance shine. Common myths and stereotypes. Stereotypes about African witchcraft and spirituality distort their genuine nature. These activities promote healing, community well-being, and spirituality, not malice. Legal and social battles. In many African countries, spiritual practitioners confront legal and social challenges to their work. Religion, identity, legacy, and cultural survival in a quickly contemporary society are at stake. Celebrating ancestral values, ancient beliefs and behaviors are reviving across Africa and its diaspora. This spiritual awakening is a tremendous journey of self-discovery, healing, and connecting with our ancestors' wisdom, not only heritage restoration. Resistance, identity, power. Many view this resurgence as resistance to centuries of injustice and marginalization. It's an identity declaration that affirms African spiritual traditions' importance and beauty in a devalued world. Through these behaviors, individuals feel empowered and connected. Diaspora's preservation and spread. These spiritual traditions must be preserved and disseminated by the African diaspora. Cultural interactions and transnational communities ensure that African spirituality inspires and heals beyond its borders. Religion and modernity integration. This spiritual rebirth harmoniously integrates modernity. Innovative ways of merging traditional beliefs with modern living and other religions show African spirituality's versatility and relevance. African spirituality versus global traditions. African spirituality illuminates the worldwide search for divine connection through its complex tapestry of activities and beliefs. Comparisons with various cultures reveal comparable characteristics of ancestral veneration, nature's sacredness, and spiritual awareness, demonstrating humanity's spiritual journey's interdependence. Today's movements in African spirituality. African spirituality enriches global spiritual movements much beyond its geographical origins. Community, healing, and connectivity have spawned new spirituality, ecological, and social justice ideas, proving African wisdom's global importance. Cross-cultural and global connections. African spirituality bridges civilizations and fosters worldwide ties as the world becomes more intertwined. Interfaith talks, cultural exchanges, and shared spiritual practices help us recognize and celebrate our spiritual variety as a source of strength and harmony. African spirituality's global future. African spirituality will continue to expand, adapt, and influence globally. By embracing these ancient traditions, we enrich our understanding of spirituality and set the path for a future that values and celebrates all cultures' spiritual history. Reflecting on African spirituality. As we finish our tour, we're reminded of African spirituality's depth, persistence, and diversity. From ancient ceremonies to modern revivals, African spirituality reveals a region that has been shaped by global spirituality. This exploration helps us understand and respect African spiritual traditions beyond stereotypes. When we open our hearts and minds to these diverse activities, spirituality may transcend cultures rather than divide them. We're just beginning to appreciate African mysticism. This documentary encourages research, conversation, and respect for these rich traditions. Continue learning from each other to create a more inclusive and spiritually linked world. As we look ahead, African spirituality has evolved and endured. It celebrates human perseverance and rejuvenation, inspiring generations with knowledge, beauty, and power. Our voyage ends, but discovery and knowledge continue. Thank you to everyone who contributed to this African spirituality exploration. Our documentary revolves around their wisdom and openness. Let's say this adventure motivated you to like, share, and subscribe to more human culture and spirituality studies. Let's keep spreading understanding and respect.